Here is the Torbert keeper right up the middle. Torbert quickly to the 40, stays on his feet. 50, 40, 30, right sideline. Will they catch him? They will not catch Luke Torbert. Touchdown Crawford. 58 yards.
I think it was actually 68, Tom.
60, that's what I said. I said 68 yards.
We'll fix it in post.
Welcome back inside the Toe King of Waco halftime show, Crawford Pirates and the Riesel Indians. It's time for our player interview, sponsored by Central National Bank. Central National Bank is a full-service, locally owned independent bank in Central Texas with locations in Waco, Temple, and Austin, and at cnbwaco.com. Bank different, bank central. We're pleased to be joined for the interview, which we need to make clear was recorded earlier this week. They don't let us pull a player out of the locker room at halftime. But we are very pleased to be joined by senior quarterback Luke Torbert. Hey, Luke, thanks for your time and welcome back to the playing field. You had a fantastic game last Friday night. We'll get to that in a minute, but what was it like to be back on the field, especially in a top 10 matchup after having to miss several weeks?
I mean, it was great. I miss playing with my teammates and my friends and being around the football. I go to practice, but it's not the same as being out there with them. And so practicing all week and leading up to the game, I was just really excited and going out there and doing what we did to a really great team and Coleman. I mean, it was just great and just keep rolling throughout the playoffs.
Hey, Luke, last season on these interviews, we asked Ben Baker and Colt Murphy, who's the fastest guy on the team? They said it was you. That's what it looks like from the press box. What's your 40 time? And have you always been the fastest guy on your teams growing up, or is that something that you've developed only recently?
No, I'd say it's pretty recent. Probably junior year of high school. I got pretty fast. But I got clocked I went to a camp and I got clocked at a 4:49 hand time 40. That wasn't laser, but that's the fastest I've ever ran.
Ooh, that's fast, man. That's fast. Well, you pulled away on a long touchdown run. I give 68 yards, I want to say. When you take us through that run, it looked like you kind of got a little contact at the line, and it looked like you were going to go down, but you used your incredible balance, and then you just pulled away from the defense.
Yeah, so the play was supposed to be designed basically going straight up the middle with misdirection. And so we practiced right before the game that specific play, and we repped it the day before the game just in case. And whenever we repped it, we practiced going straight down the middle and, expecting contact but fighting through it. And so I had contact and just tried to maintain my balance and just took off from there.
You had a similar play where your balance and your athleticism really sparkled, and it didn't go for a touchdown, but it was a screen pass set up to go to Breck Chambers along the left sideline as you guys were moving right to left, and their defensive line kind of came through on the screen, and you really had to scramble and use your balance just to get the pass off. And when you did, it went for a big third down. You remember that play?
Yes, sir.
Take us through that play, because I think that was, even though you had some sensational plays, that to me was the one that really sparkled, even though it didn't go for a touchdown.
Well, that was definitely not how it's supposed to be designed or drawn up. It's supposed to be a full, get across the field and dump it off to Breck, but there's pressure up the middle. So I saw him last second, just decided to spin away and see if I could get the ball off, and Breck was open. So I just gave it to him.
We're visiting with senior quarterback Luke Torbert here in the Toe King of Waco halftime show, Crawford Pirates and Riesel Indians here at half at Midway Panther Stadium in Hewitt. Hey, Luke, when you have to miss games due to an injury, as you have had to miss several games, sometimes players can pick up new things because they see the game from a different vantage point, from the sideline, watching it, and you're not used to watching, you're used to playing. But have you what did you learn about yourself, about the team, about the game from having to miss some time and watch it from the sidelines in the second half of the season?
Mainly just to stay out of my head and stay mentally focused on the task that I'm doing. It's tough not being out there with the guys that you've grown up with and playing a sport that you love. And so it's frustrating at times. And throughout that time while I was injured, I just learned to just stay out of my head and what's the end goal? And the end goal was to get back and play with my teammates, and I did that. So, just stay out of your head and keep going.
Some younger guys, sophomore Cade Smith, junior Ethan Altoff, they both filled in your absence. Tell me about the job they did and what you observed from how they came in when you were out.
I mean, they did a phenomenal job. Whenever we're playing Riesel, and I didn't even play that first game, and they beat them 43-0 or whatever it was. And so they've stepped in their role, and they've done their job, what they've been coached to do. And so it's great to see that. And knowing that I'm a senior and those are the guys coming behind me, it's just great to see that, we have a bright future here.
Absolutely. Hey, we're visiting with Luke Torbert. Last question, Luke Torbert on the halftime show. You have a lot of teammates, yourself included, who have played in a lot of big games, a lot of deep playoff runs. After Coleman, a really good, tough physical team, after they came out and scored on that opening drive, what's going on the Crawford sideline? Is someone getting guys fired up to go out on offense, or is the mood more like, hey, been there, done that?
I mean, it was definitely a shock, maybe not a shock, but it's like, wow, they really just, shoved it down our throat and just scored the first drive. So now we got to show them what we can do too. And so definitely we know that they're a good team and they're going to score, but those guys also need encouragement, and the coaches do a great job of helping us with that.
Very good. Senior quarterback Luke Torbert. Hey, Luke, we've really enjoyed watching you play, and we wish you good luck tonight in the third round playoff game. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
This has been the halftime player interview with Luke Torbert, brought to you by Central National Bank. More of the Toe King of Waco halftime show and the second half kickoff are straight ahead. Crawford Pirates and the Riesel Indians on Star 104.9 FM.